You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Now, I know without the doubt this is the unpopular opinion. I'm gonna get some hate for this, but I personally think the Conqueror REWORK is actually good. I know some of you guys are absolutely losing their minds at what I just said, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Never more have I felt that I actually wanted to play Conqueror. Conqueror actually functions as a hero for once. Like, it's not just stand there, full block, dodge out, full block, dodge bash you. It's not like that endless repeat cycle. Like, I was playing him for the first time yesterday, his rework, and it actually felt like he had mix-ups. It felt like I, for once, wasn't relying on the 500 MS bash that he has in his kit, like his instant startup bash. It's not like I was relying on that for all my damage. I could sit there and charge up my unblockable and get in my 32 damage and then go into my chain, or, it just felt like I wasn't nearly as reliant on a bash and stand pause and my zone option select and all those things for damage, and it feels great. Don't get me wrong, there's some problems with the Conqueror REWORK, but I don't understand why everyone's losing their minds over it. I know double and triple and infinite unblockable go burr, but like, this is a serious problem here that everyone's freaking out over a rework that could be potentially good. Now, I don't want everyone to get Griffin syndrome again, because if we look at a character like Griffin who got nerfed into the ground, right? Most of the heroes have the exact same moveset, or better than his moveset, on launch that he had. And people complained about Griffin, so why aren't people complaining the fact that Jang Jun and Zanyu can light after their bashes, right? Because that was a big complaint about Griffin. Everyone was like, oh my god, I can't react, even though half the cast now can do something after a bash. They have a follow-up after a bash. So my whole thing is like, why is everyone complaining about these things when we just need to look at it from an honest perspective? Everyone's losing their minds over the Conqueror REWORK, right? But he's not that crazy. I mean, I think maybe the biggest ways you can adjust him and fix him are, well, here's the first thing, right? Infinite chain unblockable. I was gaming with my friend yesterday, and there's a problem when he's telling me about how the damage goes down during the infinite chain, and then I turn and look at him and go, it doesn't. And the absolute shock on this man's face conveys a serious problem here. Why does his infinite chain bash doesn't decrease in damage like Hitokiri's? Like, Hitokiri's, when she lands her first heavy on you, I think it does 24, and then if she goes into her chain, it goes down to 18, right? So, like, this infinite chain logic when it comes to her bashes, like, when it comes to unblockable bashes especially, like, I feel like they should treat it the same way in infinite hyper armor chain bashes with Hitokiri, right? So, like, they need to drag down the damage numbers on it, because it's completely unfair that you're getting hit by 27, 27, 27, 27, 27. Even bringing it down to 21 isn't fair. I think it needs to be dropped down to, like, 18 after the other one, just because of how much mix-up potential he has, because he has a follow-up feintable bash after that. So, like, the biggest thing that I feel like people need to realize about balancing For Honor is that if the attack lands a lot, its damage should be brought down. This is how I felt about all bashes, right? Like, all bash offense is super good, but like, it shouldn't guarantee so much damage because it's so easy to get damage off of a bash. Like, Black Briar's bash on launch, it did 20 damage when he launched in the original year 3 season pass. Like, he did 20 damage and people lost their minds over that, because 2 hits you're doing 40 damage to someone. That is bigger damage than landing most heroes unblockable heavies. Like, that was an insane amount of damage, and you'd think Ubisoft would have learned their lesson. But they haven't here, and I was laughing hysterically when I saw that his damage numbers are 23. He does 23 damage with Shield Bash Run and 17 base kit. Now, the reason why this is a problem, and this is what really infuriates me about the thing, is his bash damage. It needs to come down no matter what. I don't care what anyone says, this bash damage is insane, okay? 23 off of the heavy repost and 21 off of the light repost. That's way too much damage on any bash. Well, some people I don't even think we get heavy parry punishes for that amount of damage. Like, it's actually insane the amount of damage that he's doing here. And it's all because, and I want to give an example of a good designed damaging bash hero, Centurion. Have anyone noticed that his bash only nets him 17 damage? It's because his base damage lights only do 12, because he was actually balanced around his feats. They knew that if you gave him Haymaker, and he's doing 17 damage confirmed lights, it's going to put him into the 20 damage range, which just feels unfair to play against. So what they've done here is that they completely forgot how to balance heroes, and it's so sad, because you think they already have a template for this. They have Centurion. They have someone that clearly benefits from Haymaker, but doesn't make it broken. Like, Shield Basher genuinely makes Conk broken. In 2 bashes, you're eating 46 damage. That is insane, considering that this is also, as far as I'm aware, a 500 MS bash. It's his OG bash that they gave him. So not only is it like literally like Black Prior on launch, but even worse because it's 3 more damage. But he also has just an infinite chain unblockable that doesn't go down in damage. It's like their other design things that they had specifically learned about or focused on were completely thrown out the window in what? Like in favor of a Conqueror that just, it feels too good, right? He feels too strong to play. And I think other people who have played overpowered heroes, like when Raider got his stunning tap reworked the first time, and you were literally getting flashbanged every 0.2 seconds because no one else in the game had offense like that. When you have something like that, you know, in the game and it's built in, it makes me wonder, like, what the fuck are these devs doing? Like, genuinely, like, how do you not look at your previous designing principles for other heroes and realize that, like, there's some problems here with the way you're releasing this hero? Like, it doesn't follow any of the other pre-established, like, norms that you've already created for other heroes in this game. Like, it genuinely doesn't make sense. Like, this level of, like, of blatant ignorance and not realizing that, hey, there might be a problem with Shield Basher doing not even 5 or 4 or 3, it does 6 damage. It's 6 extra damage. And, you know, his original bash, I think it only did 12. Why is his bash heavy doing 17? You know, he would get 18 damage originally off of a Shield Basher. Why did they feel the need to buff the damage on his bash? It makes no sense. If you're trying to steer him away from a bash direction, right, but you still want his bash to be usable during team fights, you nerf the damage on it and you allow Shield Basher as a nice little thing so that if you want to play Conk with a more bashy playstyle, like you're used to playing him, you just put on Shield Basher. But he has now Shield Basher with super increased damage and is currently really heavily offensive moveset. And it just makes him like a monster. Like, I genuinely feel like the biggest problem with him is that he feels too good to play, genuinely. I picked him up yesterday. I'm still learning Shaolin. Shaolin has been a tougher learn for me because there's so much in this kit, but I think that just shows the difference between these two reworks. Conk just feels like so much damage with no risk or reward. And when someone like Griffin that has to throw out a kick, he does 24 damage, I think, if he lands the kick. Conqueror on one shield bash does 23 damage. How is a 500 MS instant startup from neutral bash that can be thrown out from a feint, from a heavy, from a feint, from any, from an unblockable, how is that doing 23 damage with very little risk? And Griffin's bash, that is a kick, comes out and it's got an incredible amount of risk, which is that if you dodge early, that's it. You throw out the kick, that's it. You get a free heavy on him. Like, it's insane. Like, so the other thing I want to say is that while his damage is also too high, they need to maybe throw in some more GB vulnerability into Conk's kit. Maybe make him easier to guard break during certain interactions. Maybe make it possible that you can guard break him out of his chain unblockables. Like, he just needs something. He needs to be nerfed, but not. His kit is fine. It's actually fun to play Conk. That was their goal. Make Conk fun to play, so that he's not just a bash fest. And there's a lot of people like, oh, the old Conk was better. No, it was not. I don't want to sit there and every time I throw out a light on reaction, this man zones and absolutely bodies me. Okay? These are the gameplays that are not fun. Being able to bash out of his full guard, you're coping so hard and lying to yourself if you think that that's actually a fun gameplay mechanic or gameplay loop. That you're just eating a 12 damage light a billion times over till you die, right? Or a dodge bash light. Like, so overall, I think for the most part, we need to focus on bringing down the bash damage because it's way overtuned. Like, that's without a doubt. It's way overtuned. 23 damage. 46 damage, because what people don't ever do is these numbers add up so fast, which is why I always say the easier it is to land the attack, the less damage it should do. We've had the CCU changes already, which balance out the damage numbers to a better state. But the other thing we need to realize now is they need to look at certain moves and be like, oh, Shield Bash is landing like 8 times in a match and it's literally nuking the majority of a person's health bar. Maybe the damage numbers should come down. Same the way I still feel about Raiders mix-ups. I feel like Raiders damage numbers still need to come down because it's so easy for him to land damage that even if you do nerf the damage numbers, he's still going to be doing a number on you anyway. So it's okay to have really strong mix-ups, but if you're going to have strong mix-ups, they should not be doing nearly as much damage as these are doing. And I hope you guys are agreeing with some of the points I'm making here. I hope that no one has a super crazy backlash like we did with Griffin, where Griffin is been so nerfed into the ground that he doesn't even have a good neutral like opener anymore, right? Like, what does he have? A dodge forward bash that's 500 MS that's reactable to most people at like higher level, and even during like Dominion matches that feeds revenge. Like, he practically has no solid opener, while Conk over here has a 23 damage like opener that is completely insane when it just literally pops out of nowhere. It's a 500 MS, it's borderline unreactable. So it's his whole problem here now, and I genuinely think numbers need to come down, maybe some GB vulnerability, but overall, like, the fact that he's actually fun to play, and I don't feel like it's just a bash fest, at least for my experience with playing Conk, and I can actually use unblockables and that he has a fun kit now, I think that's an amazing start. I just think it needs some tweaking, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Dr. Contradiction signing out, and I don't know if I'm going to be making another video on this at all. Depends on the feedback I get here. If I get any insane comments, I will gladly reply to them all. Thank you all, and I'm signing out.